My name is Idris Rashid. I like to think of myself as a futurist, a visionary, and an optimist. I follow the best people in their respective fields to bring you the best and most fact-supported content. I launched the Living Positively Content podcast, or as I like to call it, my mini podcast, because I strongly believe that one of the best ways to cope with life's events is by living a life of positive thoughts, words, and actions. However, not many of us know how to dive into living positively, especially in the face of seemingly constantly negative events. This podcast is designed to train you how to begin doing just that. Hi, and welcome to the Positively Living Podcast. Now, I must warn you that I have never done anything like this before, so I'm literally making this up as we go. So please bear with me while I help you grow each week. You know, these days, we're bombarded with so much negative content. It's almost impossible to go a whole day without some form of negativity thrown in our face. From the people we see every day, to the media, to even our own devices, there's so much negativity going around. And this seeps into our daily acts. Whenever we make the tiniest mistake or a major one, it seems that we're constantly judged by others and even worse, ourselves. How do we overcome this? How do we lift ourselves up when we're constantly held down? Well, that's the very reason why I decided to form this podcast. Back in 2020, I decided to start my own business, helping others learn about finances. I started part-time because I wasn't sure if it was really for me. In 2023, I left my corporate job to focus on my business full-time. I immediately felt the flow of positive thoughts and gratitude. I was so overwhelmed that I began to thinking that, this is something that everyone should experience. You see, I was unhappy with my work life, even though I was making more than I had before. From dealing with unhappy clients to being hovered over by my managers, I was left feeling drained and uninspired. Even the people around me were experiencing my frustrations. So I felt one of the ways to experience true joy in this life is helping others and people achieve. In this pilot episode, we're going to take a look at one of the best ways to begin a journey of living positively. The first step is learning how to love yourself. A lot of us miss this vital aspect because of our past. Maybe we were bullied for being different in school, or lived in a household that wasn't as nurturing and comforting as we needed. Or maybe we got so involved in our path in life and were subject to people who were doing the same. The brain is designed to pick up patterns that are programmed into it. We'll uncover this more in our next episode. And when we're programmed to look, act, and feel a certain way, it is really hard to retrain the brain and behave differently. So why is loving yourself one of the best ways to living a happier life? Loving yourself is a vital aspect of leading a fulfilled life, and it can greatly impact your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Self-love should not be confused with self-absorption, narcissism, and selfishness. In fact, many who struggle with these negative qualities are likely to struggle with proper self-love. Loving yourself also enables you to love and connect with others on a deeper level. Unfortunately, self-love is something that many people struggle with, and it can often feel like an exclusive concept and difficult to grasp. The truth is, self-love is achievable and is a journey that requires effort, patience, and a shift in mindset. In this pilot episode, we're going to discuss a few yet effective steps that can help you discover and cultivate self-love and how to love yourself. We'll also honor one of the greatest leaders in history for their positive outlook. I'm a visual person, so I'm going to share my screen with you so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Here we go. All right, we know this is the podcast there. So love yourself first. Love yourself first, because that's who you'll spend the rest of your life with. You will never spend more time with anyone as much as you will with yourself. We've all heard that if you don't love yourself and respect yourself, you cannot express the fullest intent of love to other people. So make it a point to love yourself first, and we're going to learn how. Let go of past mistakes. and regrets. In order to truly love yourself, you're going to have to let go of all the what ifs that consume your mind. It's not a healthy habit to dwell on the past, since no matter how much you dwell on it or think about it, nothing's going to change. The only thing you have control over is the present and what decisions you make today. Dwelling on the past is just going to lead you with negative thoughts, which focuses on your faults and flaws, rather than on the aspects of yourself that are good. In loving yourself, it's significant to avoid negativity as much as you possibly can. When you have negativity in your life, the tendency is to focus on that, and it's going to make you love yourself even less. Another great way, take care of your brain. The key to knowing how to love yourself is to take care of your brain. Most of our lives aren't lived in the present moment. We live in our heads. Self-love is all about being kind in our heads. Practice self-compassion by replacing doubtful thoughts with positive thoughts. Your self-worth is only a thought away. Identify the thoughts that leave you feeling stuck in a negative vortex so you can overcome them and heal yourself. By getting the mental support you need, you can point yourself in a positive direction. Your happiness is a result of how you think, nothing more. You can control your view on the situation, but you can't always control how things unfold. When you realize happiness is just replacing negative thoughts with more positive thoughts, you'll discover better relationships and you give yourself and forgive yourself for lost time. Another one I really enjoy is starting to journal. Positive words of affirmation is one of the most effective things that you can do as a self-loving activity. Basically, you start a journal and you can write whatever you want in it that leads towards appreciating all the aspects about yourself. You can write about all the things that you're grateful for that day, or you can also write a personal letter to yourself that pertains to anything that you're proud of accomplishing. This is an effective way since it promotes you to actively analyze the positive aspects of your life rather than focusing on the things that you lack. On the other hand, you can also make room for another journal, one that is completely dedicated to your negative and anxious thoughts. This is your form of release to any feelings of anxiety and worry that you may have. When you put all your anxiety and anxious thoughts down on paper, it doesn't seem as great as an impact compared to when you're just thinking it. Oftentimes, when you write them down, it can calm your heart, help you to come to the realization that they're all just limited beliefs. They're not even real. Do something for yourself. As you embark on your journey to know how to love yourself, consider doing nice things for yourself. Self-love, is all about making yourself feel special. You can develop positive feelings by doing the same things or the things that make you happy, from making silly faces to watching a funny movie to writing positive affirmations about yourself and your self-worth. So you can practice self-compassion and build the world you want to live in. The relationship you have with yourself is the most important one. You have full context on why you're upset or why you acted a specific way and how you felt. Use words that lift you up instead of tear you down. Focus on your physical health so you can get those, feel good emotions flowing through you. Another great one is increase positive emotions. Make it a habit to consistently provide self-confidence and self-affirmations. Your authentic self is a happy person. Pessimism and low self-esteem comes from years of bullying, abuse, or toxic people we know. You need to know how to love yourself. You can replace negative thoughts with happy thoughts. Speak kindly to yourself when things aren't going as planned. Do things that make you happy, like dancing while you cook or going out. Read inspirational quotes. Give yourself unconditional love and allow yourself to experience happiness. You might do daily deeds for other people and to make the world more drama-free. Cutting mean people out can be a weight off your shoulders. You can write a love letter to your future self so you can remind yourself how important you are. If you feel disappointed about something, work towards overcoming it so it can lead you on a better path. Form healthy relationships. You can know how to love yourself when you form healthy relationships with others. Your relationships with family members, friends, or even romantic partners will help you understand the importance of respect, self-love, and how people should treat you. Make a point to cut out people who disrespect you. Know your self-worth. Don't be afraid of cutting out toxic people. You need to create the life for yourself that you deserve. Learn learn from the toxicity so you don't spread it yourself. By living a life of kindness, you bring in people who are also kind to you. Surround yourself with positive people. I apologize for the picture here; it's a little blurry there. But the people that you choose to surround yourself with are very, very important in loving yourself. Once you make the change of surrounding yourself with people who give off positive vibes, people who encourage you, and people who are dreamers, they will rub off on you until soon enough you end up loving yourself even more. In reality, loving yourself comes off from just feeling good about yourself and being confident in the capabilities as a person. This is the reason as to why the key to self love is usually just positivity and acceptance of who you are as a person. Now, another very important one here is setting boundaries. Now, set boundaries. One of the reasons as to why we lose our self love is that we forget to set boundaries for ourselves and allow people to walk all over us. This is one of the most important things that you can do to integrate love and to integrate loving yourself. It's okay to say no if you're feeling say otherwise, or if it's draining all of your energy out of you. It's okay to put yourself first once in a while. You're not being selfish. You're just taking care of yourself. After all, if you don't love yourself and take care of yourself first, how can you do the same for others? And one of the most important ones, positive energy. Positive energy is crucial when it comes to loving yourself because it creates a foundation of self acceptance, allowing you to see your own worth and value, which is essential for building a healthy self image and overall well being. Essentially, when you radiate positive energy towards yourself, you're more likely to feel good about who you are, fostering a sense of self love and resilience in the face of challenges. Now, let's go back and look at some of these things that we can do each day. I'm going to stop sharing here. Get back to my. So let's go back and take a look at some things. Now, we've all made mistakes in the past. So what? We made big ones, we made small ones. But you know what? It's a new day. It's okay. Let's get over it. Now, brain health is crucial for aging and overall health. It's also crucial to feed it with nutrients to help support it. What kinds of foods are we feeding ourselves on a regular basis? And what we should be doing is feeding ourselves food that the brain loves. I heard before that the food that we eat determines what makes up our brain cells. Would you rather have brain cells that are made up of nourishing foods like fruits and veggies, or another box of mac and cheese and potato chips? I love the idea of journaling too because it allows us to put our thoughts on the paper, to get out of our head and put it down. You may even uncover things about yourself that you didn't even know was happening. You may uncover things about yourself that you didn't know was true, like how much you actually really do love yourself and all of your best qualities. You're going to see them all. You'll probably see them all more than anyone else. So make it a point to actually put it down on paper and to embrace it every day. So how do we begin this new journey towards loving ourselves? I challenge each of you to take a look in the mirror, look at yourself, look into your eyes, and begin thinking about all of the things that you truly love about yourself. When I was prepared for my graduate school auditions, I would begin each day with looking in the mirror, giving myself a smile, and saying, "Hi, me." Then I would focus on the things I love about myself. And when I knew I knew that I could get into the music school at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. I truly believe that being kind to myself and pouring love on myself helped me win that audition because I was choosing to become my own best cheerleader. I wasn't relying on external forces or anything. So often people look in the mirror for whatever reason, they don't appreciate who's looking back. Maybe they think they aren't good enough or deserving of love. Maybe they see all their past mistakes or quote failures and find reasons to unload on themselves. But I'm here to tell you today that the person looking back at you in the mirror really does need you. They are relying on you to see them for all the good that they are. And they need all the support you can give them. No one else is going to do it as much as you should do it to yourself. Now we can learn a valuable lesson from little kids. When little kids see themselves in the mirror, they're not harping on the way they look. They're not criticizing themselves for not having a flat tummy or having perfect hair. They don't dislike the image that they see because they only see themselves as they are at that moment. They dance around and enjoy that image of themselves because they have nothing negative to say about themselves. What are other ways of showing love towards ourselves and maybe towards others too? Now, diving deep into this, because one of the great ways of, there was a study from UT Austin that talked about random acts of kindness. It's called "A Little Good Goes a Long Way." What they found is that random acts of kindness is just as good for the person doing it, you, as it is for the person who's benefiting from it. So, what are some random acts of kindness that we can do for ourselves? Well, one, or for other people, I should say. One random act of kindness that I make a point of doing is looking behind me when I open the door to see if there's anyone else coming along. This will allow me to hold the door open for them, give them a smile, and sometimes a little wink, and let them go through. I do this at the gas station. I do it at the grocery store, although most grocery stores have automatic doors now, and other public spaces for people that are going about their day. Another random act of kindness is when I'm driving and someone either needs to pull into my lane or pull out of a parking lot. If it's safe, I make it a point to let them over or wave at them to come over because I know that I would appreciate it, and I always appreciate it when people do it for me. And if I'm in a particular hurry, I use my grandma voice and say, "Go head on, baby, go head on," to make it fun and comical for myself. This allows me to get out of my headspace and observe what is happening around me. Random acts of kindness is also a great way to support loving yourself because you're not choosing to show love for other people, or you are choosing to show love for other people, and maybe at the time that they really need it. Maybe they needed that smile and wink because they're having a difficult time. Maybe they needed you to let them over so that they can make that exit on time. So, what are some of the other random acts of kindness that you can do for others? You'd be surprised how many people are able to love themselves even more when they're kind to others. It's crucial. It's something that we should do every day. Now, we should take a look at, I'm going to share my screen here again. It's important to learn about other people and people who became high achievers by truly showing love towards themselves and towards others, and by living a life of positivity. So on this day, we honor our beloved Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He's best known as the leader of the civil rights movement, paving the way for equality for men and women of color. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, and getting his start as a Baptist minister, King spent his life fighting against segregation and discrimination, spreading the message of hope and acceptance for all, regardless of skin tone. Championing the power of nonviolent protest, Dr. King fought for equal rights for African Americans throughout the nation. Dr. King faced constant backlash from his views on equality, often from white people who had no problem meeting his nonviolence with violence. He was imprisoned many times, being forced from his wife, Coretta Scott King, and their children. During his time in jail, King did not sit idly. He used it to continue his work, even penning the infamous Letters from Birmingham Jail, which highlighted his dedication to the cause. Dr. King also faced backlash from African American organizations like the NAACP, which condemned him for liking the civil rights movement to opposing to the Vietnam War. Throughout it all, however, his continued dedication to equal rights earned the love and support of millions of Americans, earning King the title of Man of the Year in Time magazine in 1964. On April 4th, 1968, while standing on the balcony outside of the Rain Motel in Memphis, Tennessee, Dr. King was shot and killed in an attempt to put an end to the growing civil rights movement. But even in death, Martin Luther King Jr.'s message had the power to unite and lead us to an outpouring of African Americans fighting for equality and prompting the passing of the Equal Housing Bill and the Voting Rights Act, which would become a huge civil rights achievement and put a nail in the coffin of racial segregation. America is forever changed because of one man and the bravery that he had to stand against hate and bringing equality throughout nonviolence, love, peace, and determination. Dr. King chose positivity. even in the midst of negative actions. He died believing that consistent acts of positivity was the way to making his dream a reality. If nothing more, we can learn from Dr. King's actions and use it as an example of what thinking and acting positively could do towards a proper cause. Acting positively is a decision that we have to make every day. It's like a muscle that we have to exercise. It's not something that we can do once or twice and be ready with it. It's something that we have to do continuously to move on and to embark. And acting positively is a decision that is chosen every time. There is no one instance where it's magically implemented and permanently installed. It takes consistent action to create positivity in the positive events in your life. And think of how much Dr. King had, or how much love Dr. King had for himself in order to make the world a better place for all of us. So let's pledge to exercise this muscle every day, especially when we may not feel like doing it. Let's pledge to do little things every day to, to exercise or to make that exercise and to make the world a better place. Let's make it a point every day to make every day a great day and to look for signs of its greatness throughout the day. Living positively is something that, it's really passionate to me because of the fact that I truly believe that one of the best ways of dealing with life events and getting through life is doing it through positively. I can't think of one instance where someone who was positive or chose positively had an outcome that didn't work out for them. Maybe in Dr. King's case, he was assassinated, but he still chose to have that positivity and display it every day. And we should do it ourselves too. The more that we choose and actively choose to be positive, the more that we, the happier life that we're going to have. And we're going to see better things happening within us. So as we embark on this podcast here, we're going to learn the tools because we're often told how or what we need to do, the things that we need to do, but we're never really told how to do it, how to go about doing it. So that's where we're going to start together as a team. Thank you for joining me on this podcast here and all the way to the end of this pilot episode. I hope to bring you more positive content each week, to help your week get off to a better start. And while I'm learning the world of podcasting, the episodes will begin to increase in length and we'll even start bringing in guests to bring you even more content. Now, I want to end with this. The highest consciousness of me will always see the highest consciousness of you. I love you too. If you have any suggestions for future shows, or if there's anything that you would like to know more about, please write into the Positively Living Podcast at outlook.com. You can also find us on Instagram or X, formerly known as Twitter. This podcast was created to offer advice for living a happier life. If you do feel that you are in a state where you need serious help, I strongly encourage you to speak with a properly trained professional immediately. That's not me. I can offer advice all day long, but at the end of the day, I'm not a trained professional. And one more thing, the Positive Living Podcast is currently sponsored by IMP Solutions, LLC. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see you guys again next week when we dive into the brain and what the brain does and get some more content on that. More ways of living positively. Have a good week.